Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about something that I had a hard time with it. I still do kinda, but I figured it out with the help of some notes, but I could not, for the love of Lord, find any content on YouTube. So I was like, let's make my own, Anyways, so this thing that I'm going to talk about is finding the net ionic equation for reactions that is basically an acid with an active metal, so with a metal, right? And how do we write the net ionic equation for such reactions? So the reaction that I'm going to solve for, we're actually going to do two reactions for you guys, for بتشاوروني anyways, but that should be it, honestly. That should be it. Two should be enough. All right. So the first one that I'm going to do, because this comes back pretty often in Uzaria, I've only been seeing these, to be quite frank, this came back in 2050, so that should be good. Anyways, but before we talk about that, active metals with acids, they're typically single displacement reactions. They form salt with hydrogen gas. These are very important notes. If the salt that is formed is soluble, then what becomes the spectator ion is the negative ions, all right? So the anions are going to be the spectator ions. So usually there's one anion, in our case at least, I'm not sure. So the negative ion is the spectator ion. Let's go with the singular version of that. But if the salt is insoluble, then there is no spectator ion, all right? My teacher has written two notes. I'm going to leave one of the notes to the end, but this one is very important. I'm going to mention that when we solve questions. Let's now get into solving questions, all right? Okay, that's good. All right, so we're going to now try aluminum. Americans like to call it aluminum, but it's aluminum, with sulfuric acid, all right? So Al, right here, Al plus H2SO4, and there's a salt produced, which is Al2SO4. Wait, I can't draw more? My bad. What's happening? Okay. I didn't know this could happen, but alright, it should be. My bad. Al plus H2SO4 to form H2 gas, alright? Okay. So the first thing, let's balance this equation, alright? Balance it. So there's 2Al over there, so 2 over here. I can't draw the 2 right over here, so that's a 2. Excuse me. So there should have been 3. So 3 SO4s. That is, here should be 3 H's because there's 6. So this is balanced, all right? This is the balanced formula equation, sorry. So now we're going to talk about, now we're going to move on to the overall ionic equation. I'm going to write very tiny, okay? All right. So what's happening is we're basically now going to write the same things usually, but here's where the tricks comes into the series. So 2Al, okay, plus, before I mention that, let's talk about something. Basically, now that I have an acid right over here, I have an acid. So this is the note that I was going to talk about. The number of H pluses of the acid is going to equal to the number of hydronium, which is equal to the number of water. What I want you to do right now, I want you to tell me how many H pluses are in here. Well, that's 3, that's times 2, there is 6 H pluses in this acid, all right? So now I want you to plus 6 H2O. Here I'm like, why did you add this water? Well, I wanted to ionize in the water, right? You don't necessarily have to know this, where did this 6 water come from, because all that came from ionization of H2SO4 to form SO4 and stuff. But if you didn't know, just know this note. The number of H pluses, here is 6 for reference, of the acid is going to equal to the number of hydrogen. I'm going to talk about the hydronium, which is H3O plus, which is equal to the number of O2, H2O, no, not O2, H2O. So this is 6 H2O because we have 6 H pluses, 0, 6 H2O, all right? As a result of this ionization, I'm going to have plus 6 hydroniums, all right? Because they ionized, so I'm going to have 6 hydronium. So that's 6H plus, all right? And now I'm going to have 3, there's 3 SO4s, all right? 3 SO4, 2 minus. This is aqueous. This is, because we're making the overall reaction, you have to write the states. This is solid, all right? So far, so good. Again, over here, you don't write the salt yet, all right? This is the overall equation. We don't write salts in overall equation unless they're insoluble, but this is soluble, so I just didn't even bother thinking about that. So 2Al3 plus, now that's aqueous, plus 3SO4, 2 minus, aqueous. And now, here's what's something you have to remember and talk about, is plus 3H2 from the gas. You're not going to forget that. The gas plus, I want you to write this down. This is the tricky part that I myself do not understand. 6H2O. You have to write that 6H2O. Because when you, let's just assume you have to make the masses conserved. You have 6H2O from here, you add it for here, so of course you're going to also add it for this part. Hence, it's in the product part, all right? Now, I know you all confused just as I am, but here's the nice part that my teacher has done a good job doing. I'm going to write it for you guys. Are these the only colors that I have? No, goodness. Okay, that's a nice color. Actually, I'm going to change it to this one, all right? So this is how you write the overall equation, net ionic equation. You write the metal, all right? Solid. The states are very important. Times X, hydronium. Now, I told you where this X comes from, all right? From the H pluses in the acid. The number of H pluses in the acid. In the balance. It has to be balanced, by the way. Metal as an ion, so it has to be aqueous. Plus X H2O, that X represents the number. Again, I told you where that X H2O comes from the 6, because the number of H pluses of the acid is equal to the number of hydronium, which is equal to the number of H2O, all right? And then, lastly, I don't have space, I'm going to come down, plus H2, gas. Now, it didn't write X for H2, but guys, look like you're not going to just write H2, right? You have to balance it. For example, if you needed to write 3 H2s, you write 3 H2s, all right? So, just like how we did here, all right? So, what is the ionic equation, net ionic equation here? So, according to this rule, this is 1, 2, I need this one too, I need H2O, and this one. So the net ionic equation, I know this is not the kind of content you expect to see on YouTube because it's full of shortcuts, but it's pretty useful actually. So this would be 2Al plus 6 H3O. That's a ugly H. Anyways, 6 H3O forming 2Al3 plus aqueous. Whether this has to be aqueous. And this is solid. plus 6 H2O liquid plus 3 H2 gas. Alright, that's it. That's everything you need to know on this topic. Good luck, everyone. Bye.